Going fucking
Well,
live.
it's good. It's good that you warned me this time. You used to never warn me.
Oh, that we're going live?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Never,
just, you know. Well, I like to leave you hanging every once in a while, Steve. You know, the noose around your neck just fucking lets you dangle.
I'm still not done doing what I was doing, but I mean, at least I know.
Listen, hey, at least I'm not like somebody else you used to do shows with who would leave, like, you know, the show on during or leave recordings on. Could be like that, you know. Record.
Oh, that happened a few times.
Stand by for just a second, Steve. Hold on.
I don't want to stand. Silence.
Sorry, I have a dog issue.
Oh, shit, man, we've already got one, two. Oh no, one of those is you. Oh, two of those is you. How are you in the chat twice?
Because I'm in the chat because it sends the chat to YouTube and to Twitch, Steve. So
not Facebook.
Shadow Mick M, what's up from Vancouver? What's up, Shadow Mick? Peter Higgins, I'm so excited. I'm excited too, Peter. I'm excited. Dave Harrington, what's up, Steve?
What's up, Dave? Did you go? Did you go to ASD, Dave? I think he was one of them.
Are you going to share with the rest of us?
ASD is America's shopping destination.
Yeah?
It's a trade show. I did not go. I was just asking Dave if he did.
Oh. I see, Steve. But you wanted to go?
Not this time.
No? Why not?
No. Yeah. Just people to see, places to go, things to do, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Awesome, Dave. I'm looking forward to hearing how that all went down. I should have went. Orlando, Florida.
The land of no masks. Orlando.
That's probably why they had it there this year.
Old open up Florida.
Hey, you know what? As long as it works for them, right?
Hey, yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it.
There.
All for it. All for it. Dave Harrington says, very small show, but had a good time. So good for Dave.
I saw the video, man. That I mean, it looked like you'd get that done in half a day.
Yeah. All right. Well, Steve, let's fucking jump right into this shit. Let's do it. You ready?
Okay, what are we doing? Yeah.
A show.
Okay.
All right.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening. Welcome to Fortean Slip. This is episode 183. I think it's 183.
Sure.
Into the storm, Steve. Into the storm.
That's better. I forgot to turn my lights on. Now they're on. So
you forgot to turn your lights on?
Now you can see me in full Technicolor.
Full Technicolor? I'm posting the link, Steve.
You know what's weird?
What?
It's like I'm lagging over here. I can see your mouth moving. I can see my mouth moving. And then it's like a Godzilla movie.
Or Bruce Lee.
Any of those, Chinese, Japanese, whatever it is.
Yeah. The dubbed versions. The overdubbed. Yeah. Maybe. 40% of the boots were CBD pushing Delta 8. What's that? What's that mean, Steve?
Well, you know what CBD is.
Yes. CBD is the wonderful part of cannabis that is helping so many people, I guess. Actually, it's great. I use the CBD cream on my back. Works great. Loosens me up. Really fucking helps a lot. I know a lot of people that use it for anxiety and some other things that works really well for them. But if it doesn't work for you, Steve, I mean, hey.
I'm going to guess Delta 8 is a form of CBD, but I don't know. But I'll tell you, I tried it. I tried the what was it? Starts with a T.
Tincture.
Yeah, that's it. Under the tongue.
Yeah, the tincture.
No. It just didn't do any good for me.
Didn't do it for you.
I
Maybe you
tried,
should just
man.
smoke some weed.
I've considered that too.
Like, I don't know. I know for me, like I have quite a bit of anxiety, but I don't get paranoia or anything from smoking. For me, it levels me out. And I tend to, like, one of the things I realized from the breaks that I took was that when I was completely sober, I would notice every little thing that's wrong with my body. Like every little thing. Like my neck, the issues that I have with my neck and my lower back and my shoulders. Like I would feel everything. And then like I would realize, oh fuck, I can't move my neck. But then when I was fucking, when I get a good buzz on or a little buzz, I'm just like, whatever, I can't move my neck. I'm just like, So I don't know how much it would help you. I just don't know. I think it's determinate upon the person more than anything else.
Well, I have an issue with any sort of medication at all. So
right.
Generally I have to take more of it than most people because I just don't get the effect.
Yeah.
There's certain ones like Percocet that, affects me pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Other than that, so I don't know.
I'm really careful with like prescription drugs. I try not to
me
become
too.
dependent upon anything. Like I'm very careful with how much I even take like ibuprofen or Tylenol. I'm like really weary of how much I'll take. And it's not because I'm afraid of being addicted to ibuprofen or Tylenol. It's just because overuse of anything is bad.
I'm taking the Medicinal or something. I don't know. It's a stay awake medication.
Methadone.
I'll tell you. Yeah, that's it.
No, that's not stay awake medication, Steve.
You take it daily for a long enough time, it just doesn't have much of an effect anymore.
Right.
So, and it's not like I'm addicted to it or anything. It is a stimulant, I believe, but it's an upper, I guess. I don't know what that means, but
yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't
seem to work.
Yeah,
doesn't seem to do the
not
trick
anymore. It did at the beginning, mildly. I wasn't taking like some huge dose of it or anything, but so
right.
That's how it normally is with me and prescription drugs. After time, it's just I might as well not take it anymore because it ain't doing anything. Same with my anxiety medication; it just doesn't work anymore because I take it daily, and
Well, I think that's half the problem with a lot of those medications is that after a while they just don't work.
So I think I quit the anxiety medication this week. We'll try to probably put the brakes on the other one this week too. So maybe I should start smoking pot.
Maybe it'll be a good thing for you. I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe you should try. I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to be like,
I've tried it.
Definitely. I think it's the thing for you now because like I said, I don't know. But I know for me, it changed over time. Like when I was younger, I was super anxious when I smoked weed and super paranoid. Like I'd go into like stores and shit and be like, people are looking at me. Now I'm just like,
that's the opposite of what I want.
Shit. Yeah. But now I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't care. So now it's just whatever. Well,
I would hope to get the medicinal benefits of it if I ever did try it, but I don't like the idea of smoking it. Just that doesn't appeal to me. So it would have to be some other way. But
hold on just a minute, Dave.
How many times do I got to hold on tonight? What the hell's going on over there that I got to hold on to everything? First he had me standing. Now he's got me holding. What the fuck?
Sorry, I got a dog stuffed up my ass, Steve.
Well, that's not where dogs go.
No, it's not. At all. They go somewhere else. What the fuck? Dave Harrington, sorry, I walked away for a minute.
Yeah, something must be really bad about that Delta 8.
I guess the fuck so.
2 people had heart attacks.
7 people went to the hospital. What the fuck?
What is this Delta 8 stuff?
For fuck's sake. That doesn't sound good.
I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, no shit.
Shit, man. We had the SWAT team in town today, though. My wife said she saw it. I didn't get it. Yeah, well, not up the road. Yeah,
Oh,
not in my part of town, the other side of town, but yeah, probably busting a drug house again. But it would have been cool to watch. She said it was the best thing she's ever seen. Fun to watch.
really?
Yeah, she got to see him like break down a door and shit.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if she saw them break.
But was it the right house?
Probably not.
And if it was the wrong house,
and
the cop's going to be apologetic.
well, here's the thing. I'm gonna guess it wouldn't have mattered which house on that side of town
In that area.
Yeah, right.
Just fucking take a door down. You're going to find a drug house.
No, there's quite a few over here. Not in that area generally, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's what kind of drugs?
I don't know. I haven't looked yet,
Oh.
but I'm sure that's what it was.
Oh yeah,
That's
usually.
generally what it is here. We're the main trafficking. We're one of the stops because we're right between Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
Right.
And they go right straight down Interstate 90, and they tend to stop here. So when they're trafficking this shit, because obviously it's a good place to stop, it's like halfway.
Right.
So yeah, so we get a lot of that here. But,
Good old Ohio.
this part of Ohio, anyway.
Yeah. Good old Ohio. You're right on the cusp there, Steve. It's a nice little transition point, really. I mean, because you hit what? Pennsylvania real quick there, New York. Like
Right.
you're really close to a lot of different shit.
Right, 45 minutes to the New York state line. So,
And not only that, but there's all the other states around you. I mean,
Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, man.
I'm only connected to Massachusetts and New Hampshire. That's it.
Go south a couple hours, you got West Virginia or Virginia. What is it? Virginia.
Yeah.
One of the Virginias.
You fucking drug hub state, you.
Well, it pretty much is. I mean, it's just because of where we're located.
God damn it, Ohio. Ohio's the problem, Steve. If we just get rid of Ohio,
I don't think we should get rid of it entirely.
That's the platform I think we need to run on, Steve. Me and you.
But I don't think we should get rid of it entirely.
Steve and Chris.
Not like California. California should be gone.
2020.
Ohio.
Is that when you can go again?
Sure.
Steve and Chris, 2024. What do you think?
24, yeah.
I want to be VP because I don't want all that fucking responsibility. I just want to be cool.
I don't want to be. I don't want. So you're going to be Kamala? Step up, man.
I'll be like Dick Cheney. I'll run the show, but fucking you'll be like a puppet.
Didn't Cheney shoot somebody
in the face?
Yeah, we got to keep Ohio though. I don't think that's the right platform.
Wipe it off the map. I think it's a problem.
Yeah, I'm with Chris on this one.
Ohio's a problem, Steve. It's a problem.
I bitch about Ohio all the time.
Listen,
about the other side of Ohio.
Listen, think of it this way, Steve. If we do it just right, we could have another Great Lake.
I'm okay with getting rid of, say, Toledo.
Just Toledo?
Columbus. I like Columbus. So
what about Cleveland?
That's Cleveland. As long as it still exists, I'll be all right with it. It doesn't have to be part of Ohio.
All right. I'm with you, I guess. Although I think
a lot of work in Cleveland.
And Katie's with me on this one, so I think that's very important.
I think she's
actually close to your area. I'm not.
She's not close to my area.
Yes, she is.
She's all the way on the other side.
It takes me less than an hour to get to the Ohio state line, and I just did it this weekend. So
okay, how many hours does it take you to get to the Pennsylvania state line?
I don't know, all the way across the state of Ohio.
See?
But all that time, she's in the state of Ohio, Steve.
Yeah, I know all about Ohio.
It gets better as you come this way.
Does it? Let's talk about the Confederate flags I saw, Steve.
Oh, we got those here too. I can't hang my hat on that one.
Confederate flags are only in the north.
We could drive on a back road. Oh, that's just on the side of a house.
They're on trucks. We have them on the back of trucks all over the place.
I used to display a Confederate flag back in the day.
We do.
I had to I had to cut off, the vest, the jean jacket vest, and I had the big old Confederate flag on the back of it at one point.
You thought you were badass.
But there wasn't any stigma behind it at that point. Now there is. I wouldn't do it now, obviously, but we didn't think it wasn't a racist thing to me at the time.
Well, maybe it was, and you just didn't give a shit. I don't know.
I just wanted to be a cowboy.
Yeah, that's why you wear that hat. Anywho, you got any news tonight, Steve?
I might. Can I put my reading glasses on for this one?
I guess, if you'd like to. Go ahead. Let's do it.
That's good. Oh, monkeys. We got monkeys. Prehistoric cavemen. What? Prehistoric. Oh, I'm on the wrong story. Monkeys. Sorry. I've got a big old scratch on my leg here, and it's bothering me. So let me itch it for a second. Then I'll get to the news. All right, here. The primates. Nearly 24 monkeys escaped from a German zoo Thursday. Yeah. The incident occurred at Tasmania Wildlife Park in Lofingen. When the animals managed to get out of their enclosure and started roaming around the animals as a pack. Wow. They roamed as a pack.
And they started fucking shit up?
They started probably fucking shit. Because that's what monkeys do. Zoo officials believe a construction project of facility may have played a part in the daring escape. How is that a daring escape? The animals were free for several hours, but were found playing and soaking up the sun. A welcome sign at the wildlife park leading to the entrance of the zoo says the animals apparently took advantage. That's not what they said. A welcome. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm reading the story, but I didn't pre-read this one, and it doesn't make any sense the way they wrote it. Anyway,
use your words.
All the monkeys were safely recaptured. They were Barbary macaws. Macaques, not macaws. That's a bird. Also known as Barbary apes. And they're primarily native to the Atlas Mountains region of North Africa, but are also common in Gibraltar, whatever that is. Some sort of island somewhere, which is only wild monkeys.
The Straits of Gibraltar, Steve.
Yes, it has the only wild monkey population in the entirety of Europe. It's a fun little story. Escaped monkeys. It's probably what happened. They probably had some Bigfoot sightings. They're small monkeys, though. So this is a better story, I promise. MSN.com. Prehistoric cavemen starved themselves of oxygen to induce hallucinations. Very cool.
Fucking young kids do that.
Yeah, well, they do that. Yeah, autoerotic asphyxiation is what it says.
No, I'm talking about like pass out parties and shit.
Right. So they did this to inspire their ancient cave paintings. Prehistoric cave dwellers living in Europe starved themselves of oxygen to make art. Researchers say. How do they know this? Prehistoric.
Didn't they have access to mushrooms?
They may have. Researchers have been questioning for years why so many of the world's oldest paintings were located in often pitch-dark tunnel systems far away from cave entrances. But a recent study by Tel Aviv University now reveals that the location was deliberate because it induced oxygen deprivation and caused cavemen to experience a state called hypoxia.
Right.
Hypoxia can bring about symptoms including shortness of breath, headaches, confusion, and rapid heartbeat, which can lead to feelings of euphoria, near-death experiences, and out-of-body sensations. The team of researchers believes it would have been very similar to when you are taking drugs. That's what they believe.
Yeah. Sometime.
There is a knock on my door, and I'm going to have to go answer it. Carry on. I'll be right back.
I'll carry on. Now it's my turn to carry on. And yeah, I know about those parties because I used to participate in them years ago, where kids would make each other pass out. Those
do it
were
to each other?
Oh yeah.
I heard kids doing it to themselves. There's a kid in my class who used to do it to himself. And
yeah, I knew kids that did it at like their desks and shit.
Yeah.
But when I was away at a program that I went to at a college, I went to Bowdoin College for a summer. There was a group of us there, and they wound up finding out about it. The teacher counselors there for the summer, and they were like, yeah, you guys got to stop that shit.
It appears that Upper Paleolithic people barely used it. It was Spectrum, by the way. Motherfucking Spectrum. Trying to sell me some Spectrum.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they got high.
Drugs?
And did their things. No.
Oh,
Not Spectrum.
Spectrum was a code for drugs.
Last story. Social experiment sends 15 volunteers into dark caves for 40 days. Maybe
to have hypoxia.
This one's from interestingengeering.com. A controversial new experiment in France has been compared to the infamous 1971 Stanford prison experiment, in which volunteers were locked into prison and assigned roles of either prisoner or guards.
Yeah, and that experiment has since been determined to be very skewed, but it did point out some very flawed things about human beings. So carry on.
I'm sure it did. Dubbed Deep Time, the new experiment has just shut 15 people inside a dark cave in France for 40 days with no access to natural light or the ability to tell time. Oh, that would suck. Who volunteers for shit like that?
Yeah, which means you lose all sense of time.
Yeah. As IFL Science reports, a team of 15 volunteers, 8 men and 7 women, were sealed into the cave on March 14th. The goal of the project is to observe the effects of long-term isolation with no concept of time and what that has on what effect that has on the mind. The volunteers will have no source of light, no smartphones, watches, or any other object that could help them discern the time of day. We're assuming none of these volunteers have seen the movie The Descent. I haven't even seen that movie, so I have no idea what that reference is about.
Oh.
Yeah. Only one source of light will be provided, a pedal-driven dynamo that creates electricity. Dynamo. Yeah, that creates electricity for a small lantern. This thing, yeah. Time loss is the greatest disorientation there is, according to this article. I'm not volunteering for that shit. Especially if I were with a woman in this situation, because you know what these men are going to do. They're just going to go crazy and fucking rape them.
That's what all men do, Steve.
Yes. They'll turn into cave people.
They also don't have access to water. They're only giving them food, and they have to find
their own sources of water.
Yes.
I'm going to guess that there's water in that cave, or they would have chose that cave.
I'm assuming they chose a cave where that's an option.
Also, guess that there's going to be some sort of monitor, you know. They're going to see him on camera somehow. Because if something dangerous like getting raped happens, they're going to...
You're sticking with the whole rape thing, huh? I
think that's what they're going to do.
Hang your hat on that one?
It's a valid concern.
I mean... Sure, I guess.
What woman wants to be locked in a dark cave for what? What did I say? 40 days with a bunch of men?
I don't know.
None.
I might know a few.
Because of rape.
Oh, Steve.
I guarantee it.
You're a hell of a fella, bud.
We're going to revisit. Katie, can you put it on the calendar to revisit the story in 40 days?
Yes, I was actually planning on doing that.
How many rapes occurred?
Will do.
Katie, start the rape clock. Oh, God. What the fuck is wrong with you, Steve?
There's nothing. It's human nature. Men will turn into these weird beasts if they're deprived of things.
That's what happens.
Women will become nurturing, but men turn into wild beasts.
Just fucking pigs.
They will
always.
I don't care how good intentioned. If they lock me in there, I would probably.
It's all toxic masculinity, right, Steve?
It is at that time. 40 days is going to feel like 100 years to these people without no sense of time.
Okay, we'll see. 40. Let's revisit the story. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's funny that you immediately go there, but it's interesting. It's an interesting one. So on to our topic of the evening. You probably haven't seen the Q documentary, Steve.
I have not had a chance to see any documentary in the last 10 years.
Into the Storm, the Q documentary. I had a chance to check this out as it was coming out. I watched this, and I fucking love this thing. It like I had a little bit of a concept of what the whole Q thing was, but I didn't know a lot. Like I didn't have a complete understanding of it. I knew that it was somewhat political in nature. So much like Katie, because Katie and I were discussing this, she was like, I'm really afraid to delve into this. So
Right, I remember that, yes.
But we both came away from it kind of breathing easy about it, like, because it wasn't like that. It was way more just about what it was. It wasn't there was some political shit in it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't driven by that. I don't feel. You didn't, right, Katie?
No. First of all, it wasn't what I thought it was, and second, it definitely wasn't slanted one way or the other. It
didn't feel like it was.
Right. Yeah, if
Right.
it was subtle, but it really just was a journey through the timeline of this, and I was not aware of the full scope of the whole Q thing. So
Right.
it was very enlightening.
So for anyone that doesn't want to have any spoilers about this, we're gonna probably spoil the fucking shit out of it, because I'm gonna tell you who he decides who he thinks Q is at the end. Because I completely agree with him. For one, I think he's right. And two,
Q's an actual person?
If that's the case, yes. And if that's the case, then all of these people
I know who it is.
who have been following this and live by this have been just following this fucking strange dude.
It's pretty clear that they've all been duped, for sure.
Yeah, like I said to Katie, the first thing I thought of when I saw these people was flat earthers. They remind me of flat earthers. They're so dug in, they can't give up, they can't let go of anything. They fucking die on every mound they stand on. You know, it's just amazing to me.
Isn't Q that guy? You know, he's like this omnipresent dude from Star Trek. That Q we're talking about.
Excuse me. No. That is a dude that's named Q, but that's not this dude.
I like that Q.
So Q was this person who started posting. Was it on Reddit first, Katie?
I think it was on 4chan first.
But I want to say it was on Reddit, and they banned him on Reddit like right away.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And then it took a while for 4chan to ban him.
Yeah, and then 4chan banned him, and then he wound up going over, or she, we don't know. Like, I'm saying that I think the guy is right about it, that it's the dude, but we don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't officially confirmed.
Right, and we'll get to that. So then he went to 8chan, which was this fucking website.
8chan?
Yes, which was a website that was started by Frederick Brennan. Now, Frederick Brennan, for those of you that don't know, if you've ever seen the movie Unbreakable, and they made Samuel Jackson had this disease in the movie where his bones would break. They were very fragile. Well, Frederick Brennan is an actual guy who has this disease. He's Mr. Fucking Glass. And based on what Samuel Jackson looked like in the movie, I think they got it a little wrong. Because Frederick Brennan is he's almost like a dwarf. He has to be like in a chair all the time. He has to have something propping him up. He can't. I don't believe he can walk at all. Is that correct, Katie?
Yeah,
Pretty
not
sure he
that I
can't
could
walk
tell.
at
No.
all.
That sucks.
Yeah, but he's the one that started 8chan. And he got fucking in with these other two guys, Jim Watkins and Ron Watkins. They basically took it over for him. And he kind of was like an employee for a while. They like paid all of his shit. They like bought him this place in where was that? The Philippines, Katie?
Yes. Well, that's where he ultimately ended up. But I think
Right.
they paid for a place for him in America while he was still working too.
So, and he had a wife over there and little Pomeranian dogs. And I guess like he did stuff on the site for a while, but eventually they had like this falling out. And it wasn't even over the Q stuff that they had a falling out about. It was about the Nazi boards and the white supremacy boards that were on 8chan. So he went on this Frederick went on this fucking crusade to take down Jim and Ron. And he was fucking ruthless. And I think he was his own worst enemy because I think this battle was just so childish. But he started pointing fingers about who Q was during this whole thing. And eventually, like was it the server that wouldn't deal with them anymore?
It was their like protected server service. The people who
they shut them down.
It's like an insurance company for websites, big websites that have a lot of traffic. They have separate server managers. And yeah, that company just dropped him, said, we're not helping you anymore.
So it all got really dirty. But anyway, Q is all wrapped up in this because he's on these different boards. He or she. I'll still say he or she. Or whatever. Go fuck yourselves. But it started on 4chan or Reddit possibly. Went to 4chan. Got banned from 4chan. Went to 8chan, which eventually became 8kun. Is that what it was called, Katie?
Something like that. Something
Yeah.
a different word.
Yeah, because they had to change. No. So because of this battle with Fred asked them, or they said to Fred, well, what if we change the name of it? And so that can disassociate it from you. And he was like, yeah, sure. And so they changed it to 8kun.
Wait, so somebody's having issues with white supremacy, and they changed the name to 8kun.
It was KUN.
It doesn't matter.
It's not.
I think it was CHUN, actually.
No, it's KU. I think if you look it up, hold on.
But to a casual observer like me, that's going to sound pretty fucking racist.
8kun. 8KUN.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, his big beef was that the people on the white supremacy boards and the Nazi boards, whenever somebody was going and doing something like going to kill like Mexicans or something, they were all like, rah, 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 this is great. This guy's a hero, and this stuff was just allowed, which is, I mean, free speech is free speech. No matter how you fucking slice it, it has to be that way.
Right.
And I think that everyone has the right to say whatever the fuck they want. Like, granted, you go into those discussions of, well, you can't say fire in a crowded movie theater or whatever, that type of shit. Yeah, but
that's taking action on free speech. That's taking action on speech.
Right.
So when you take action, that's different.
Right. So, but that was his big beef. Carolyn Cook, just a little passive aggressive. And you care to explain yourself, or just throw that out there?
Maybe that's.
I'm guessing Fred.
Yeah. Anywho, but yeah, so this whole beef's going on, and Q is in the throes of all of this. So now Q would just come on and make these strange posts. And in the beginning, they were set up a certain way. Like they would go down in, like they were just little blurbs, and they would just blip, blip, blip. And then later on, it was totally different. Like it changed. But everything was like read into, like the storm is coming, and then like fucking Donald Trump would say like the storm is coming, you know. And that would mean something. But what happened ultimately was that the power structure that was around Trump realized that the Q movement was a fucking force to be reckoned with. And they used them. I mean,
Sure,
and hey, fucking good on them, I guess. I mean, if you can rally these bunch of people together to be on your cause, to be on your side, you know, whatever. But, and like I said, Katie and I were talking about this earlier. I think that in the beginning, maybe Q was somebody who was on the inside track in politics or somewhere in Washington. Maybe. But I think at some point it got hijacked.
And there was a point in time when they noticed the stylized difference in the posts.
Right.
They also went back and looked at the IP addresses, and it was clear that something major had changed about it.
Well,
the way it was being done was different.
There was one guy in there, I can't remember what his name was, but he said to Ron, listen, you know this is fucked up and that's not Q. Like those posts are not coming from Q anymore.
Right.
Like at one point. So like I said, I don't know if Q was originally somebody else and then it got hijacked, or if something just changed along the way. But in the documentary, Ron Watkins, who's the dude who basically ran 8chan, his father owned it. What was it Frederick called it? A boat?
Yes.
A yacht. You own a yacht, and
right.
It cost you a shit ton of money.
Yes.
He's like, that's what 8chan is to Jim. But Ron ran it. So Ron goes through this whole thing with the director about how he thinks that Q is Steve Bannon. And there's all these correlations to how it could be Steve Bannon. And I mean, at that point in the documentary, I don't know how you were, Katie, but I was like, kind of could be Steve Bannon.
Yeah, I was kind of shrugging, like, oh, maybe.
I don't know. But what I think ultimately is that Steve Bannon realized that all these people were a thing that could be tapped and used, and he utilized them. And he even, was it him that sent help to Jim Watkins?
Yes. Well,
in the form of the attorney?
It was implied by Ron. Ron was like, somebody made an anonymous donation, and he's like, but I just happened to call Steve Bannon yesterday and asked him if he could help me. So it was very vaguely implied, but you definitely got the drift. Not confirmed, but yes, he paid for that.
So he's pointing the finger at Steve Bannon through the whole fucking documentary, through the whole thing. And Jim, who's just this jackass. I looked at Jim Watkins as just this fucking jackass. He's got every time you saw him, he was different. Like at one point, he's got this curly Q fucking mustache.
Yeah,
this other time, he's got these huge sideburns.
There was a couple of times when he'd make the time jumps that I'd have to rewind it and be like, wait, who the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh, it's fucking Jim. Like, what the fuck? It was like a roller coaster watching the ebbs and flows of that guy.
Oh, yeah. And he was all over the place.
Yeah.
He would confirm something in one video and then deny it in another one.
I don't know. Towards the end, though, I totally got the vibe that some of that was definitely an act. I think he was more contrived than he acted very aloof a lot, and I don't think he was as aloof as he acted personally.
Oh, I definitely think you're right about that. I think that he was deliberately that way.
Yes, he wanted to look like a Looney Tune.
But I also think that he was trying to cover up for shit that he had said at one point in some of those cases. But anyway, so those two are running the fucking 8chan, 8kun, whatever the fuck the goddamn site is. I don't know if it's down at this point or whatever. I don't give a shit. But, you know, you go through all this huge fight. Fucking Fred has to move back to America because they like basically they get him on libel laws over there, and the libel laws over there, like you go to jail, and not like jail like here.
Yeah, Philippines jail.
Like the type of jail where a guy like Fred, whose bones break if like he fucking falls over, like he's gonna die. So he has to fucking flee the country. Like literally, it was like I felt like it was a fucking escape movie at that point.
Yeah, that actually kind of got my heart racing a little bit. Like, oh my
I was
God,
like, is this little
gonna
fucker
die.
gonna get out?
Right.
So
and I found it fascinating that it was actually the documentary guy. The guy making the documentary is the one who ultimately helped him get out of there.
Yeah. Well, he felt bad for him.
Yes.
Even though he says in the documentary, he's like, listen, I think that Fred made his own bed with a lot of this shit, but I still feel bad for him.
Yeah.
And I think he felt like a sense of responsibility where he was like, he was in this guy's life for so long.
Yeah. He had kind of made a commitment at that point, or at least he felt like he had emotionally.
So, and then you get to the end of this documentary, and like there's no, there was kind of a big reveal, but by the time you get to the end, you know,
it doesn't feel like a big reveal,
right? You just fucking know that he's gonna come out and say that it's Ron Watkins that he thinks is Q, and I totally agree with him. Like completely agree with him, because he goes back through all of the video that he had with him and makes all the fucking comparisons to things that Ron said and then things that were posted by Q, and it's fucking creepy as shit. And I think I totally believe that he either is Q or he's so in bed with Q that he might as well be. You know, and that's the funny thing is that these people have literally just been following. If this guy's been Q all along, or even if he just hijacked it, since he hijacked it, these people have just been following this fucking weird conspiracy theorist that owned a fucking a website, or ran it. Actually, his father owned it.
Yeah, I think a lot of those people that, like you said, seem like the flat earther type, if they were to find out that that's for real, who they've been following, they're going to be pissed.
Their heads are going to fucking explode.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like, really? This is the guy? Either that or their fucking twisted logic will somehow fucking twist it around like he's some mastermind.
Right.
That's what'll happen.
You know?
Because they're so in bed, they're so in with it that they will. You know,
and I totally felt like these people were flat earthers. Everything they had an answer for, every little thing. I mean, and there's meaning in everything. Seriously, like I'm like a spiritual type of guy. Like I believe in some weird shit. Yeah, I tend to believe there's some type of meaning in shit, but not like that.
Just a little bit I know about it is, it didn't matter. I mean, Trump could have said, "I'm going to take a shit," and there would have been some sort of meaning to that.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how
you know, it's time to go, or they could find something in anything he said and trace it back to Q. And I think that type of mentality is dangerous. And I think that all of us know this. We know that this type of mentality is dangerous. This, at all costs, I'm right, you're wrong. It's done nothing but breed hate and discontent. And it's not just a one-sided thing, it's both. We've talked about this before. It's on both sides that this type of shit happens.
I think the issue with something like Q is the people who follow that and believe in it believe that they know something that you don't know, and that they have the
Right.
inside track to something,
Right.
and that's why it gets as big as it does. Same with a cult, and same with religion, and same with anything like
And we've
UFOs
all
and that kind of
fallen
thing.
prey to it
Sure.
in our lives. I would say like some of the people that I believed early on in the Bigfoot community, I fell prey to that type of shit where I believed. The John Teeter thing, the first time I had heard about that, when I started digging into it, oh my God, I was so fucking deep. I was like, there's a time traveler. Dude, fucking guy's a time traveler. We're all gonna the Civil War's coming. I was all in with John Teeter, so I can totally get it. I sympathize with that, but at the same time, I don't believe that these people should be silenced. I don't think they should be taken off of YouTube. I don't think that they should be driven away. Let them speak. Let them say whatever the fuck they want. You can choose to believe in them or you can choose to not believe in them. That's your choice.
Yeah. I mean, most of them, I'm sure, are harmless individuals, just kind of like your flat earthers, but it can cause issues. I mean, it can cause big issues if they incite violence, or if they do something. If they find meaning in everything, it's going to cause some problems along the way somewhere.
Well, hey, if something happened like that, then the hammer should come down on them.
Absolutely, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that if that type of stuff happens, then yeah. But if they're just talking about shit and saying, I don't see a problem with it. I can look at it and say, okay, they're some crazy Q people. I mean, hey, enjoy your little conspiracy thing. And I'm fine with that. You can have it. But,
apparently this affected quite a large number of the population, though. A lot of people believed in this shit.
Yeah.
How, I don't know. I mean, I heard about it. Like, Q, what the fuck is that? That kind of
I
thing.
don't. I'm taken back to like when like the 9/11 stuff came out. I'm taken back to there when there was all of a sudden there was like when the conspiracy theories were in their early conception, and I remember the people that jumped on board with that in droves.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to so many of them now, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I don't believe that anymore." Or
but a lot of those people still believe some sort of conspiracy, just not.
Yeah, and some of them still believe some sort of conspiracy. My take on that, my serious take on that, is that I think that something happened, and then I think that the people in positions of power took complete fucking advantage of it, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Something happened, which was very tragic. And then the people that were in power said, hey, guess what we can do now? And they did.
So, like any other event in the history of events. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to call that a conspiracy, okay. All right.
It is a conspiracy. Anytime something benefits, let's say, a politician or a group of individuals, no matter what, they're going to take advantage of that situation. It happened, and that's what
it happens all the time, all the time.
And it may look at times like, okay, there's some big conspiracy here. It's not. It's just human nature, is what it is.
Well, sometimes it is a conspiracy.
Sometimes
there have been conspiracies.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can't just poo-poo or piss on every single conspiracy that's out there. I mean, listen, we've talked about Alex Jones on this show quite a few times, and Alex Jones has been right. And he's been right quite a few times.
Yeah, the amount of times he's been right is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I mean, the whole Bohemian Grove, say what you want about these Q people with this fucking pedophilia shit. That Bohemian Grove shit, or Bohemian Grove, or whatever the fuck that thing is, that he fucking blew the lid off of, and they do not want to talk about at all. He was right. That type of shit, there's other shit that he has uncovered. There's conspiracy theories that date back to what was the Gulf of Tonkin? Wasn't that in Vietnam? That was a total thing that was fucking done by the government to get us into a fucking war. That's all it was.
Well, shit, they did it. They were going to do the same sorts of things in Cuba there.
Yep.
They were going to blame the Cubans for. They were going to shoot down an airliner.
Yep, absolutely.
Blame the Cubans. Yep.
They were planning on killing people, actually killing people.
Real live American folks. Yep. And then blaming it on Cuba.
Yep.
So that we could invade. So yeah, do conspiracies happen? Absolutely.
So I think, like I said, I think to poo-poo or to piss on these people's, all of these people's ideas is folly. But you got to sift through some shit.
Yeah.
You can't just go everything has meaning. Everything. Go.
Well, you're playing on people's emotions at that point. I mean, I grew up in church, and we believe that everything has meaning. So if you use certain terminology, you're going to get a certain group of people that will tend to believe in that, that line of thought. Yeah. And so I can see how easy look at Nazi Germany. Those people everybody in Germany knew what was going on. I mean, they're not stupid people.
Oh yeah.
And they either joined it or let it happen.
And just kept their fucking mouths shut.
Kept their mouths shut.
Yeah.
So look how easy that happened. Look how easy that was. Yeah. And it's human nature.
But, ask yourself this. Seriously. If you were on the street and you saw a group of cops vehemently committing an atrocity in front of you, are you going to speak up and say anything?
I don't know. I mean, we're talking. I mean, obviously, the Derek Chauvin trial is going on right now, and would you have jumped in and stopped him from having his neck or knee on the guy's neck?
I'm not stupid enough with a police officer.
No,
I'm not.
Probably got shot at that point. So what do you do?
But that's the thing, you got to ask yourself that question, and I think that the answer for most people is no. Most people are just going to let it fucking happen because they know if they interfere, they're either going to be friggin' they're going to be screwed. They're going to go to jail. Unless something comes out that or they're going to get shot or whatever. And I think it's a very dangerous, slippery slope. I think that the problem in America is that there is not enough money and resources put into training police officers properly. I also think that there's not enough of a vetting process that goes into determining who psychologically can do that job. I think
I got to say, for the record, I don't think Chauvin went in there saying, "I'm going to kill this guy."
No, I don't think so.
I know
either.
that's not the case.
I don't think so
he
either.
was one of those macho asshole cops that I think that's probably more the case.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree, and I don't listen. I have my own issues with how police work is done. I think that these people are human beings.
I think the other cops have a job. I think the other cops with him, it's that whole thin blue line thing.
Yeah,
they're there to protect him,
and that's a problem, and that needs to change. And it's sad because, like I said, these people, they're people. And I was dealing with somebody that would at work recently that didn't want to serve fucking cops, and they came through, right? And I'm just like, I said to somebody else, I was like, how many fucking serial killers or pedophiles have you served? You don't know because they're not wearing a fucking uniform. But you'll fucking serve whoever else comes through. But you don't want to serve that person who's just another person doing their fucking job.
How many white supremacists or
right?
How many? If you're let's say you're a non-religious person, how many preachers have you served? You don't. And
I think that's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Well,
because,
I don't think it's hilarious.
I've had my issues. I've totally had my issues with police officers. I think that some of the shit they do is fucking absolutely asinine and stupid. And I think that some of the stuff that they do borderline is I think it's illegal. I think the fact that a police officer can lie to you in an interrogation is downright illegal. You can't lie to them, but they can lie to you. That's bullshit.
It to me is coercion. I'd say.
And in a lot of cases it is, and I think that's why it needs to be left out.
I was watching no, the guy was guilty, and he did it. He killed his wife, but she had already died in the hospital, and they told him, okay, she's telling a whole different story than you are. He's like, oh, she's alive? She was dead at that point. And they're lying to this guy just to get him to confess. And he did.
Yeah.
Now, is that correct? Obviously he's going to be found out. I mean, he was just a young kid.
I think the way that they lie to you in a lot of these cases, I think it's just like it's coercive, it's deceptive, and it's not the right way to go about things. It's just not.
And they know who to do it to and who not to do it to.
Yeah.
I mean, if let's say my boy went in there and the cops started saying, "Hey, you did. We know you did this. This is what they're saying." He might even confess without have done it because he just.
And there are so many cases where that's happened, where people have confessed to things that they didn't do.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that he would be one of those people just to get them to stop, because the pressure would be too much.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
I might even do that. I don't know. They're scared to fucking death.
I can be honest with you. I lost all sense of perception when they took me into jail, because I knew enough to just sit there and say, I just want to talk to an attorney. But the cop sat there and he said, no, you give me this statement, you'll go home tonight. You'll go home tonight. Liar. I'll never believe another police officer in my life. I mean, hell,
and that's sad because, I mean, 99.9% of the cops out there are good people who are doing their job.
Yeah.
It's these assholes that ruin it for everyone. And every town has an asshole. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Every little town and hamlet that has cops has an asshole.
No, yeah, if not a couple. Because we're all human beings. And I just think it's just folly to just blanket statement with these people. I also think it's folly to blanket statement say that they're all good too. And that all these people that are saying cops are bad are just fucking being stupid. Like, that's the other thing. Support all cops? No. Listen,
you can't support
ladies
all.
and gentlemen, I'm going to break down the fourth wall for you. There is a serious problem with police officers and domestic abuse. And if you don't believe me, look at the fucking numbers.
So I was watching another one of those stupid murder shows the other day. And this guy's a former cop. Well, his son's ex-wife, he didn't like her. She was going to get custody of the kids. At the courthouse, he shot her, killed her, and her friend for good measure. But the cops don't have to be good people.
No, and that's the thing. And people need to realize that they're people.
But I think here's my issue with this whole thing, especially with the Chauvin trial going on right now. I'm worried about the precedent it sets. Because now, how much is it going to hinder the good cops from doing their job? And that scares me a little bit.
Here's my problem with what happened with Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. At the point that he had his knee on his neck, back, whatever the fuck they want to try to say, and he was cuffed, there were 3 police officers there. Why wasn't he picked up off the ground and put into the back of the cruiser?
At that point, he didn't represent a threat.
Why wasn't he picked up off the ground and put into the cruiser? If Derek Chauvin can give me a fucking an answer for that,
I think
he can't.
It's testosterone at that point. He's being filmed by a bunch of people. He knows it. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he's got to be right. He's got to be right because he's the cop.
No, I agree.
And I think that's the whole thing. They're telling him, get your neck. and we've seen so much of this stuff on TV because that's what the media wants you to see. I mean, the problem isn't nearly as big as they obviously want you to believe it is. It is big. It's just not nearly as big. And at that point, he knows that, we know that, and so he's using.
And the thing that really bothers me lately is this whole well, he was on drugs. Okay, so that means he deserved to die?
No, he was on drugs. He deserved to be handcuffed, and maybe, I mean, if the procedure is to stop him by putting your knee on his neck for a short time, whatever procedure is, proper procedure is once that guy stops moving, you probably shouldn't be on him anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, the first thing they're going to say is, "Oh, I can't breathe," and I get that. I get that, obviously if you can still talk.
Listen, I've been in a jail. I've heard, what actual criminals will say. Yeah. They'll say fucking whatever.
Right, and I don't know that Floyd knew at the point he was being filmed, but it doesn't matter because the mentality right now is that they're going to, people are going to blame the cop for everything, and that was the mentality before George Floyd. It just gotten much worse since then. So he's going to act. I mean, even if he wasn't in danger, he's going to act like he was.
Well, so I think you're right. I hate to see what it does to other police officers. However,
I'm nervous about that.
At the same time, they allowed this to happen.
Yep, I agree there too.
They allowed.
What do you do? What do you do?
They allowed it to happen. So something's got to be done, and I guess just let the system fucking work it out. If the system is what we got, then let the system work it out. I hate to say that. I wish there was a better answer.
My guess is he's going to be charged or he's going to get some sort of involuntary manslaughter charge or sentence, and that's probably the appropriate sentence. However, it ain't going to come across as appropriate to a certain part of the population, and it's going to cause some issues.
Oh yeah, they're going to.
We already know it's going to. Either way, this process is going to cause issues, unless they put him to death. It's going to cause issues.
Frank Smith, I read Floyd put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly.
Yes,
I don't know if that's true or not, though. Okay, so all things being equal, Frank, no one, unless they're presenting a danger to the police officer, which he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he was cuffed. Yes, he could have possibly kicked the police officer, I guess, but there were 3 there. There's no reason that someone should die in police custody.
Unless it poses a present danger, yes.
Yeah, there's no reason.
And yes, it is true that Floyd did that. But Chauvin didn't know that at the time.
And
so
Yowie Channel Central is bringing up what happened to that soldier in Virginia. I don't know a lot about that. I know a little bit about it. If what I know is true, that is also bullshit.
I haven't seen it.
2 sides.
Don't know anything.
I haven't heard.
I'm sure there's 2 sides.
Much of anything yet. I know that I think the governor came out. I think the governor came out and said something about it. So not in the favor of the cops. Just saying.
What state did this happen? Virginia.
I can't remember.
Okay. So my biggest worry there is that the governor of Virginia is a Democrat, and right now it's popular as a Democrat to be against the police. So that would bother me a little bit. So I wouldn't take much into account what the governor said. I would look at the video and watch what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I need
both the body cam video, because I'm sure they had it, and the other video. So if there were other videos, so that's what I'd have to see, and then make my decision.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna wrap this fucking shit up tonight, because it just brings down shit when we start talking about that fucking type of shit.
Fuck Dean Cooper.
Yeah, fuck Dean, because he shows up at the end of the fucking show. Go fuck yourself, Dean. You're never around. But yeah, I mean, hopefully there's a peaceful resolution to all of this. However, I hate to say that I don't think there's going to be either way.
Not anytime soon, for sure.
But this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 183, Into the Storm. If you like this shit, hit that little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. You can subscribe. You can go to fucking facebook.com/the Fortean Slip. You can fucking go to anchor.fm/the Fortean Slip and listen to all of our episodes. Well, most of them. And also you can go wherever you download podcasts and just type in the Fortean Slip and boom, there it'll be. You can always go check out Dreadfund at dreadfund.com and youtube.com/Dreadfund. He's the guy that does all that wonderful artwork that we have that you see behind us. And then up in that corner of the screen where the little logo is, the cryptids playing poker. Check out Fred. As always, check out Bronx Johnny over at High Society Radio. That's at gasdigitalnetwork.com and wherever podcasts may be downloaded. Check out the Fortean Slip bedtime stories. I put up a new one today and I put up a new one yesterday. So there's a couple of new ones up there. And I've been pretty fucking swamped with work. So I haven't been doing a lot of them lately. I want to get back into doing some books on there. So hopefully I can get back into that. But I did an H.P. Lovecraft story and an Ambrose Bierce story. So
there you go.
Some of you can check that out and enjoy those. Until next time, I don't know what we're doing next week.
At 5 p.m. on Monday, Yowie Channel Central.
Yes, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday nights. I don't know if that's going to change again. Sorry, Steve. Okay. My job is a shit show, so we'll talk about it after when the show is not on. So anyhow, but yeah, we'll have a topic for next week, and I did talk to Tom Reed. I'll be doing something with him sometime soon. I believe it's at the end of May that he said he was available, so I will get in touch with him again and figure that out. So until next week, see ya.